line.
Also, a huge thank you to 𝗵𝗵𝗴𝗹. They are a virtual band who create innovative musical experiences just for you. But you already knew that, didn't you? We've been talking about them for long enough. But please do go to 𝗵𝗵𝗴𝗹.com and check them out because they are awesome.
Ale, ale, ale. Ale, ale, ale. Ale, ale, ale.
Welcome to the Sheff United way. We've made it. It's the end of the season, a 90-point season. I've got to make clear. What a fantastic season for Sheffield United, we've got to say. Like, take Burnley, take Leeds out of the equation. Yes, they've gone up top and second, Leeds winning the championship, but a 90-point season for Sheffield United is wonderful. So hats off to Chris Wilder and the team for create. And at the end of the day, we started off with half a team. We've put this team together and they've managed to finish third with 90 points. I keep saying 90 points. I'm going to keep saying it because, you know, if we'd have finished third and not second on the last game of the season, I might be a little bit more downbeat. But just the fact that, you know, we've had time to process this, it's been a really good season. And we've got to give a big shout out to the lads. Now, before we get into talking about this Blackburn Rovers 1-1 draw, I just want to have a quick, pop a quick advert from our sponsors, Netmore. We're extremely excited to announce Netmore as an official sponsor of the Sheff United Way YouTube channel and podcast. Earn £350 a year by leasing your rooftop space and help bring cutting-edge IoT connectivity to Yorkshire. Simply scan the QR code on screen, visit the website, or click the link in the description to chat with Dom and the Netmore team and see if your location is a match for their rollout. No pressure, no hassle, just one blade helping other blades make a bit of extra cash. There we go. So go and speak to Dom and the Netmore team. They will be waiting for your call. So it's a very, very exciting match reaction because it's not just any old match reaction watching me witter on about Sheffield United. I've got a very, very exciting guest to bring in all the way from the Middle East, from Saudi Arabia. It is Hal Stewart. How are we doing, mate?
Yes, I'm working here at the moment, and I thought, well, it's only right that we link up all the way from Saudi Arabia. So, I mean, who else could it be?
Yeah, it's not going to be anyone else, is it? It's going to be the man Hal.
Who are we kidding?
Wow!
Yeah. So
how are you doing, Abdullah?
Not bad. We watched the game together, so yeah, we're excited about the playoffs. So we'll see.
Fantastic. What do you think of the game today, then?
It was, you know, typical, like not very important, like game that means not a lot to us. But the important thing, we avoided red cards, and unfortunately the injury, we're still waiting in the news. I mean, hopefully he can make it for the playoffs. But other than that, it was a good game.
Yeah, I remember Nick Montgomery dislocating his shoulder back in the day and then playing the next match. Monty, of course, made of some pretty strong stuff. By the way, if you are watching now and you have a question for Prince Abdullah, former Sheffield United owner, which seems strange to say, then you can pop it in the chat and we will fire it over to him.
Yeah, you say former, but you were saying we then. I heard we. So you are still a big Sheffield United fan, aren't you?
Of course, you bet, always.
Oh, you should have seen today. I mean, every kick. So yeah, like all of us. And a game that was frustrating, you know, as much as it was exciting in equal measure, because you've got that Harmer miss, which I have to say, maybe it's because he wasn't fresh, because he didn't play the last game, and actually you miss a few games and suddenly you lose that sharpness. And then Tom Cannon as well with a miss that makes a lot of people, I'm sure, question that signing, and people naturally will. I do think he will come good because he has to.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a few players that's been missing recently as well. Ben Brereton Diaz, Rak Sake, players that we would expect to see lead the line in the next couple of games, hopefully, or few games, shall we say. So yeah, like Prince Abdullah's just alluded to there, it wasn't particularly a game that we were too bothered about. In my opinion, I just didn't want us to lose to Blackburn and then end up playing Blackburn with them, having their tails up. So we've got Bristol City. How are we feeling about playing Bristol City in the playoffs?
I mean, we have to be the best team in the playoffs. I think if I was Chris, I would try to take the pressure off the players, because I think if we play without pressure, we have the better team. Of course, in football, anything can happen. But I really think that what we should do now as a city, as a fans, as a manager, is to take the pressure off the players. We tell them that you had a very good season, and if we play to our abilities, we should be in the Premier League. So just take it one game at a time. We play the first game away, which is good, and I think I know that we don't have a good history with the playoffs, but I would say optimistic that if we go to Wembley, and I think we will go to Wembley, we are the best team and we will show it. And not only that, I think we have many players who can make a difference in big games. The important thing is not to have that weird game where you start bad, or but all in all, I'm although I think that we should have been an automatic promotion spot, but that's my personal opinion. I still think that everybody agrees, I think, that we are the best team, which doesn't guarantee us anything, but if we play to our abilities, we should be in good shape.
Yeah, absolutely agree. I feel like it's just going to be me and Prince Abdullah speaking to each other here. So I'm going to throw a question to Hal. Bristol City, Hal, what are you? You obviously did a video talking about all the teams that we could get. Bristol City, what are you feeling about them?
Yes, a video which Prince Abdullah hasn't watched yet, and that's.
How dare you?
I thought I would be seeing enough of you. So.
To be honest, you were able to quiz me, so you got the live video. I think emotionally exhausted Bristol City, because for them it did go kind of right down to the last day, and they had to come back from 2 goals down against a very difficult opponent with a manager we know quite well. For us, you feel like these players, this group of players, the history of we falling out and missing out and getting beaten in the playoffs will mean absolutely nothing to them. So I don't think that counts for anything. Now, this is a Bristol City team that we beat away from home, but that was a poorer Bristol City team than they have become. They've put some really results together with Manning, I think, doing a really tremendous job, and they probably could and should have beaten us at Bramall Lane when they started clicking and getting it all together. This is a team I wanted to avoid. But if you are going to get promotion, you have to beat every team that's thrown out in front of you. And obviously, as Abdullah says, we are the best team when we get to Wembley, which I'm very confident we will. We'll hopefully play, I would say, if I had to choose, Coventry, because I think that they are such a hot and cold team that we can beat them on our day.
Yeah, you say that, but Sunderland have been a very cold team recently. There's been no hot in Sunderland at all recently. They've got beaten. I think they've got beaten today as well. Is that five defeats on the bounce? So I think Sunderland will be really, really lucky to get to the final. Yeah, that is 5 defeats on the bounce. That is all.
Nick, from history, like even if you look at World Cups, like playoffs, like when it comes to knockout, it's different. You only have to click at the right time, and so I think I'm glad that one good advantage about playing Bristol is that we will not think that it's an easy game, because if it was like Sunderland and everybody would say that they lost the last 5 games, a false confidence may creep in, and then. That's not good. I think that I'm glad that we played Bristol City. It's not going to be easy, but as I said, if we play to our abilities, I'm glad that. I hope that we will have we'll have a full squad, and I think if we do, I think we should be in good shape.
Yeah.
The important thing is, I think that I have a feeling, and maybe I've been in football for many years. That doesn't make me right all the time. But I think sometimes we play like tight. We play under pressure. I think we should try to. We don't need to play under pressure because we are the best team. Like if we just play like free football, if we play like as our players are capable of playing and not playing scared, we should do okay.
I actually have a question for Prince Abdullah, and whilst I'm sat right next to him, it'd be remiss of me not to ask it. And I know other people will be thinking it. So -2 It's
Yes.
probably going to come up. In the end, it's not ended up being the reason we haven't been promoted. We didn't miss out by 2 points. So over the piece, what are
Yeah.
your thoughts?
I think if it wasn't for the -2, we would have not got promoted 2 years ago, and hence we would have not had Hamer, Souza. We would have not been able to build the team we had now. I think that promotion to the Premier League helped us have the squad we have right now.
So it was a gamble almost worth taking.
Yeah, I mean, even if I knew that at the end of the season we would have missed promotion by 2 points, do you like the squad we have right now?
The squad we have now is better than the squad we went to the Premier League with before.
Not only that, we could have. I mean, the squad we got promoted with was at the end of the line. I mean,
It was Norwood.
So yeah, we have
Egan.
to rebuild the team. And if you look at the business we did, even when we were in the Premier League, I think all the players we bought, they are either still with the team and doing well, or we've sold them for profit. So I like our record in the recruitment the last 2 years, and I think if it was not for that promotion and the -2 points that came after, I don't think we would have had this team.
But it's not, something that people might say it's not good practice to
Yeah,
sort of
it
getting
was not.
yourself.
It wasn't like intention. We did
No,
not
of course,
plan it.
of course. But
Like we would be late. We had also, I think, many like I think there was some loops and how like the EFL, like there are many teams that were late paying us. So that I think should have been also reflected. Like when teams don't pay you, of course you and not to remind everybody with the very important thing that we had the COVID. And when we bought all this, we spent around £150 million in the 2 Premier League years, the first 2 Premier League, and most of the payments for players that like Brewster, we lost £30 million of revenue from TV and no fans for 2 years. So nobody can plan for that.
I suppose, and it's a sort of, you're saying it's a lead on,
Yes,
which then had knock on effect. -2 will be something that people, I'm sure, will speak about for a few years, but I think it is really important that it wasn't.
and remember, you're in Saudi. If you don't stop talking about it, I'll beat you up.
Yeah, there is also that. And one thing
It's not hard to be hell up, in all honesty.
I know, but especially at my home here in Riyadh.
Actually, I should say Prince Abdullah incredibly generous to me when I said I was working in the Middle East to not only invite me into his home, but to introduce me to his family. And I've got to say the hospitality has been incredible.
Yeah, and
So,
we watched the whole games together. And yesterday, the City Wolves, and we're going to watch the Arsenal now.
yeah.
So yeah, it's full day of sport.
Full day of football. We've just been chatting blades, which has been fantastic. If you do have any questions, I know that Ian Smith has said, Prince Abdullah, do you have any ambition to get back into English football, either as a full or part-time owner in the future? And just before you answer that, take into account what I said, if you get back into English football.
Yeah, I have. I may do that, but I'm telling you, I'm, like at heart, I'll always be a Sheffield United fan.
Always a blade.
So, of course, if I go, there are 3 options. Say that I may never go back to English football, go back but to Sheffield United in some capacity, or a new club. But my heart will always be with Sheffield United.
And I'm working on that new club being a Cypriot football club. So just
Yes.
leave that with me. Yeah. What a great guest, Prince Abdullah too. So there we are. It's nice.
Thank you, Simon.
Well, Nick, I should probably throw a question back at you because we've been speaking for ages. Your thoughts on the playoffs?
Yeah, I'm really excited for it. We've been into the playoffs before, many times before, and I feel like quite often we go into the playoffs as favourites. We're probably going to be favourites again. I think we've been better in the past going into the playoffs, but I think that the teams that we're coming up against are actually a lot weaker. And this might get clipped, and this might get when we get beaten 3-0 in the first leg. Hopefully that's not the case. But no, I honestly feel like we are by far the strongest team in the playoffs. If, like Prince Abdullah said earlier on, if the lads can just keep the heads and we can just play our normal game as we've done all season, in the playoffs, there's only Sunderland that's beaten us. Bristol City we've beaten away and drawn at home. Coventry we took 4 points from. It's only Sunderland that's beaten us, and they're on a really, really torrid run of form. So there's absolutely nothing to be scared of. The only 2 teams that really worried me slightly were Blackburn and Millwall. And seeing Blackburn today, I wouldn't have minded playing Blackburn again because I think Blackburn were rubbish. And I think if we'd have had a full strength side out, and we needed a win today, we'd have blown them away 2-3, 4-0 because I thought they were really poor. Millwall were the other team. Obviously, they've come to Bramall Lane recently and taken 3 points off us. So that was a slight worry. But playing Burnley at home when Burnley have not lost all season, they're not going to want to. They're obviously going for the title, and also they don't want to lose at home when they've not lost at home all season. So I'm really confident going into this, worryingly confident, because it can obviously all unravel. We know it's such a lottery. And as Prince Abdullah mentioned earlier on, it's kind of like you reset for the playoffs because it's not the season anymore. It's a shootout. And, you know, you've got to take a step back for a second and be like, right, this is a knockout competition now. So let's give it everything. And I think we'll go to Bristol City. I think we'll get I'm going to say get a draw. I think we'll go to Bristol City and you know, not lose. And then we'll go and beat them at home. I think that's what it is. I think that's what will happen. And I think we'll be going to Wembley and spending a hell of a lot of money going there. And hopefully we do it this time.
And one thing, I think, Hal, you said that yellow card doesn't carry on to the playoffs, right?
So yellow cards set, so we don't need to worry about. Of course, if you get a red in the semis.
Wasn't you scared today that Hammer may get a red card?
Well, I was scared that Hammer might get injured. I think as well.
Yeah, but that one, you know, like you never know, like how the referee will see things. But
when he was scrapping a little bit,
yeah,
it was nerve-wracking.
I mean, it's just being Sheffield United now. You taught me to be.
Well, I think it's
sometimes pessimistic.
People, absolutely. People have no idea what it's like. I mean, owning a football club. I'd be amazed if many people watching this have ever owned a football club. But you now are stepping back, having previously owned this club. You're now watching as a fan, and you also watch, I would imagine, with a very different hat on, which is also you're also assessing the new owners.
Yeah, it was just stressful, of course, for me and for my family. I still watch the games, but now, like when we lost the 3 games, like, oh my God, when I remember the 3 games, I think would have been now, like top, would have been automatic promotion, I think.
Yeah, so that would have been
9 more.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Anyway, fine. So, yeah, of course you get like sad, you get crushed, but at least you can switch it off and not think about next year, how much money we need to generate. If we don't get promoted, what players we need to sell. You think about it as a fan, but it's not like something you keep thinking about it 24 hours a day. So it's less stress, but I mean, you're still very happy if they win and very, very sad if they lose.
Do you ever look at it now and go, I would have done that differently? I would have done that the same?
Yes, of course. But you know what? The thing is, I have good relationship with Steve Rosen. And for instance, like I told him what I thought about like summer transfer window. Like, what should we do? And of course, those conversations will be private. But like I have good relationship with Stephen and Helmi, and of course Stephen Bettis, of course, who's dear friend. And I always like tell them what I think and give them advice. And as like sometimes they take it and sometimes they don't, and they have every right to do that and to do their own thing.
I think it's great though that they are open to receiving advice from someone who has been in their exact position. Whether they take it or not, you're absolutely right. It's up to them.
My question for you, Prince Abdullah, is what would you have done different in January?
Of course, like Cannon still could be a star, and he's very young, and he could be the greatest buy we ever made. But if I had the money, maybe I would have bought center back, because I think that's the position. If we go to Premier League or stay in Championship, we will need to find permanent solution, because we are thin. Even if you think Anel has 1 year left in his contract, Jack Robinson has 1 year left in his contract, and we're getting old there. I think we're all set in everywhere. And like I think we really have a deep squad. I always disagreed with people who said that we don't have a deep squad. I think because you should also account for the players coming from the academy. Like, for instance, like look at the forwards we have. Now we have Brewster, we have Tyrese, we have Kiefer Moore, and we have Solly Marsh and
Louis Marsh and
One. So that's why I thought that maybe center back would have been like because you don't want also to bring you to block your young players coming into the team. Like look at the pick and this year, like how just because. Like if we would have had maybe somebody, if we would have brought a player in his position, we would have not discovered that we had some player like Peck, or like, and I think now that I think that we have really good academy and good players coming from the academy. I think the future is bright for Sheffield United. I think we need promotion because it will help us, like it will speed up like us being a better team. If we don't get promoted, I think we may need to sell some players. And that maybe you never know, like when you buy new players, even if there is like always element of luck that this player will work out or not. Like I think if you look at the recruitment when we were in the Premier League, I think we did very well. I think Souza and Hamer are really great players, and they like one of them was player of the season. I think Souza was maybe the player of the first half of the season before injury. So I think we have really good 2 players there, and even the players that we bought, and they're still not with us, we made profit on all of them. So for me, a good recruitment is either a player you buy and you make profit on, or is very good, like contributing to the team.
And we discussed this last night, and Prince Abdullah knows I had a slightly different take on our transfer approach in the Premier League, where I was sort of hoping we'd go for some slightly more ready-made Premier League quality players over Slimani and Traore, for example, if they weren't going to play. Of course, I know they would have been signed with the hope that they were going to play, but it did feel like that might have been an opportunity missed. However,
but look at like the recruitment we did the first 2 years of the Premier League. We spent 150 million and it didn't guarantee us anything.
Yeah. This is true. And actually, Ben's just made an interesting point that he listened to Blades Pod. Do check Blades Pod out. It's nothing to do with us, but I do like the guys that do that. Talking about our previous playoff campaigns, which have all been heartbreak. And it really reminded me what state we were in as a club before Prince Abdullah joined. So I know you telling me that you sometimes get quite a lot of grief on social media. It's nice to get praise.
Yes.
So if you do want to ask Prince Abdullah anything or thank him or even have a go at him, you don't mind that, do you?
I don't mind, but he's going to pay for it.
Yeah, I'm going to pay, but I don't think anyone wants to mind that either. Yeah.
No, absolutely. Who's been your favourite player to watch this season, Prince Abdullah, or who's been your player of the season?
Oh, so I mean, like we had so many good players and young players. 𝗚𝗏𝗏 for me is one of my favorites because, like, I think my daughter was telling her that when he signed his contract, she cried just because he was a ball boy, academy. Like it's like a great Sheffield United story.
By the way, I had no idea that your family's passion for Sheffield United was quite as incredible as it is.
Yeah.
I mean, there's Blade shirts everywhere here. Is it more than I've got? And it's just fantastic.
No chance. No,
really.
𝗚𝗏𝗏 for me is like a great Sheffield United story, but not only him. I think I could count 6 or 7. Like almost all our squad this year is like who played like only Hamer maybe and Souza still starting from last year.
Yeah, I suppose.
And
𝗚𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏,
and Jack Robinson.
Yeah, although he wasn't playing when Suter was.
Yeah, so I mean, we almost have. I really, as I said, I'm optimistic about the future of the team. I think we need promotion because it will like allow us to progress and develop more. But I think we have to be smart. Like like the lesson I learned is it doesn't matter how much you spend, you have to spend it wisely. Like I think if I had the 150 million we spent the first year in the Premier League and we spent it wisely, we would have been maybe today like Brighton or Brentford.
Imagine.
Yeah, because I don't want to go through name by name. Like some of them are really dear to me. Like for me, 𝗐𝗏𝗏 is a player I love. I love the heart he put. But we could have recruited better with other players, I think.
Yeah, you've shared some of those names with me in confidence that we could have signed, and I won't share those. But they would have been interesting to go maybe in a different direction transfer wise. I think for me, to answer your question, Nick, Harmer, Cooper, Peck, Burrow, and first half of the season, you said Tyrese as well. He really surprised me. He really surprised me.
And for me, you know what? For what it's worth, I hope we sign Brewster. I think he played really well this year. and I think he has good heart. He's always good in, like, you know, like he always like positive energy in the club, good in the locker room. He doesn't cause any problem. And I think like if you remember, I think he played a game last year away. I don't know what game it is, and he was injured at the end of the game, but he played really well. Like, he has potential. I know he didn't show it full in the 5 years, but I really think that he will blossom, like maybe next year or the year after.
Maybe. We've been waiting a long time. We actually were talking about the Fulham game where 𝗍𝗏𝗏 missed a penalty, weren't we, a little earlier on today? And that was Brewster's debut. And I remember being so excited when he came on. I was watching it with my nephews, and I said, this guy's a bags man. Just watch. He might even score straight away. And if you said to me sort of 3-4 years on, we'd still be saying, I think next season.
Yeah, I know, but I don't. We should have his history, like play against him, because it's not about history. It's about what you think the player will do. Then when you sign a player, it should be about what do you expect in the future.
I like that. To be honest, if I was a player and you'd said that to me, that would actually inspire me to impress next season. I do like that. Actually, there's some more questions that have come in that I think are quite nice to throw at you. I think Roger Green's one of how much do we actually need to spend to be able to stay in the Premier League, in your opinion?
Look, I mean, I think we need to spend wisely. This is very important, because you could buy 50 million flop or 2 million Cooper.
Yeah, Super Cooper.
Anil is 2.5 million pound or 3 million pound. So it's not. It's like, for me, our Blasters Premier League.
We have to see how he comes back, of course.
I know. But we're talking so I we have, like, now if you look at our squad, I think we need maybe like we need to reinvest in the center back position.
Yeah, we probably need another right back,
and we need depth there.
Yeah.
We need right back, but I think other than that, we need some creativity in the midfield in the Premier League.
It depends, I think, if we change the formation, if we play Harmer in the middle, if we sign 𝗵𝗏𝗏 and Diaz. I think all of the questions will be different. But
okay, just remember this: the best ability is availability. Whenever we sign a new player, we have to look at his injury record. It's not good if you sign a player who give you 10 games a season and then he's injured another 10 games. You need to look at availability and his injury record. I mean, somebody will say that, okay, what about Brewster? But I think Brewster, this year, has been his injury record is better, and I think if you don't count on him playing 90 minutes every game, I think he can come. He's a player who can come and make a difference.
He didn't have an injury record when he was signed.
Yes,
he just scored 10 goals in 20 games for Swansea on loan from Liverpool and looked like he was only going to go one direction. I would maybe cite Tom Davies as a signing that happened under your tenureship as someone who is a bit injury prone, and that one.
Okay, I read one comment. I think you have to be careful if the owners make a splash signings, the new owners, and spend a lot of money. What if we get relegated? Then the only people who will pay is Sheffield United fans. Trust me, because the only way that they will get their money. I'm not talking about the current owners. I'm talking about any other owners. Any owner will put his will put money from his pocket, but there is a limit, right? You can't just few owners have unlimited resources. Maybe 3 or 4 or 5. The rest, the money will eventually come from the club. So you don't be happy about the day you sign a player for big money unless you think he's a good player, because otherwise you will pay sooner or later.
This is true. What are your thoughts on the gap emerging between the Premier League and the Championship after the last 2 seasons, relegated sides, and the reason why this is happening? I mean, we've seen it this season.
I think if you add up the points for the 3 teams relegating the season, it will be lower than even last year. 3 teams.
Yeah, I think you're probably right. I haven't done it, but it feels right.
It does.
I think there will be 1 or 2 teams who will change that equation. It's not going to be. Yeah, the gap is widening, but I think now you need to be smarter in recruitment. Look. For us, I think it's very misleading if you think about our last promotion. As I said, look at the team we got promoted with. It was mainly old players, and the 2 young players we had, the promising player, 𝗵𝗏𝗏 and 𝗚𝗏𝗏, they were in the last year of their contract. If we didn't sell them, we would have been probably also relegated, but we would have not had the money to buy Hamer or Souza.
But you didn't want to lose those players.
No, of course, I know. But if we renew them, then you still have the value in the team. But once they refuse to renew, then the only choice is to play the season. And
is that what happened?
Yes,
that you offered both of them good contracts.
Yeah, you know that. We've talked
I do know
about
that, but you know why I'm asking.
I invited like Element for me, I cared more. I like Sander, and I still sometimes message him. He's a class guy, but he made it clear that he will not renew.
Okay, so if a player says I'm not going to come to the table and talk,
you know what? Like, it's their life also. I mean, the player has the right to make a mistake. Like, has to the right to say I want another club. You shouldn't be like take it personal. But he did, both of them were like Berger. Like, I remember some players. I'm not going to mention names. He never said I will not play. He never said I will not give 100%. He said if you keep me this year, I'll give you 100%. But I'm not going to renew. So I'm glad we sold him.
Right. Okay. Am I back in? You tagged me back in. Right. I'm in.
I've been talking for ages.
No, I love it. I'd rather you two talk. So let's see if we've got any more comments. One question that I had: the two foreign wingers that were signed through using AI. Was that anything to do with you? Were you? Did you bring that in, or was that something that the new owners had brought in?
No, I mean, I had no idea. I asked actually Hal about them yesterday, and where are they, and are they playing or not? He couldn't give me.
Well, I could give you some. Because I told you of the issue with our Nigerian winger, that I believe a work permit issue, and that Cáceres, I had asked a Peruvian journalist's opinion on, and that was an interesting response. So we'll see. But would you have wanted to go down that route of sort of AI data search?
I think every team has to like count and data more, but you have to have both data. And I think with that, with data advancing, I think in the future will be more data, because data will be more smart. It will be more like what to analyze, what to like look for. Like before, it was like passes, like accuracy, like passes different when you're like passing to the like center back beside you, and or like have a key pass. And I think those data will develop with the time and be more meaningful. But for now, I think you need both, and you cannot just like. For me, I think finally at United World, if I see the recruiting we did the last 2-3 years, I think it's much better than the recruiting we did the years before.
Yeah, people will mention United World and say that it wasn't a success. Do you feel that it just didn't have long enough to actually bear fruit and bring players from the other clubs to the main club?
No, I mean, that's when I say recruiting, I'm not talking about bringing players from like other clubs that we own. It's like just recruiting in general. We have good central recruitment now. Like, I think in the last 2 years or 3 years, we did not do any big mistakes. Like, of course, I think if you bring 10 players and 6 or 7 of them do well, I think that's very good recruitment. But we haven't like bought players that flopped in the last 2-3 years. Give me a name.
Traore.
First name is Traore. And
why English? He said that's how you say his name.
2 reasons he didn't work out. First, nobody can pronounce his name. Second, I think, as I told you, if you make money in the player, you cannot call it a flop.
Yeah, I suppose from a business point of view, absolutely.
And you bought him like for 1 million or 2 million, and you sold him for more. You can't complain.
That, I suppose, from a balance sheet point of view, yes. From a fan point of view, on the pitch, that will always be looked at differently.
No, I think because the stronger the club financially is, the better it will be.
Well, you're certainly managing the club better than a certain S6 owner, chairman, CEO. He does it all. How many players, if Sheffield United are promoted, do you think we actually need to bring in, if you had to put a number on it? Because I have seen that question pop up.
I think you start from the back. You see like what will Anel renew or not.
I hope so.
And if he doesn't, then you need 3 center backs. You need to get younger, and you need to be like bulletproof there. Once you do that, the other side, maybe some creativity in the midfield, because you have so many strikers now, and you can only play 1 or 2. I think I will start in the back, because other than that, I think we have a great goalkeeper. I think we have a great young talent, but I think we need to like the defense need to be priority.
I'm not sure we've got strikers for the Premier League. I know you say we've got a lot of strikers.
Yeah, but striker in Premier League, what you said, 70 million pounds?
Yeah, no, they cost
80
a
million
lot. They
pounds.
cost a lot.
So you need to be very efficient in the money you spend. Like I think 10 million pounds will buy you a good like center back, but it will buy you. I don't think it will buy great like number 9.
Well, we might have to go back
unless
to,
of course you go international and you have good scouting international.
Exactly what I was about to say. Yeah. So let's go through some more of these. I don't know if Simon's question. I think that you're asking about if you've got rid of Wilder. So basically, it says, Prince, would you be brave enough to get rid of Chris Wilder if we get promotion through the playoffs? He's not for me as a 50-year-long player. I'm just going to say, I think because Chris Wilder is currently the manager, I don't know if that's actually fair.
Yeah, okay. I think these things we should talk about, like evaluate the season after the season.
Yes, this is exactly what.
Now, I think we have also to stand behind the team, from Chris Wilder to the smallest player to the medical staff to everybody. There are 3 games to go. If we get promoted, that's all what we need. And to evaluate the season, I think always, like to evaluate a manager, you see what, like compared to other teams in the league, what is like how good the roster he had compared to other teams. I think good manager will give you more with less.
Yes.
Average manager will give you what you have. Bad managers will give you less what you have, less from more.
And we've seen that this season with other teams in the Championship. And I wish Plymouth well next season. We have some decent strikers. Some never get used. Ryan O'Neill. Also, I would mention 𝗍𝗿𝗍𝗍 as well from the who is James 𝗍𝗿𝗍's son, and we were talking during the game about the last really great striker that didn't come through our academy, and James 𝗍𝗿𝗍 for me is
Craig 𝗍𝗿𝗍. Craig 𝗍𝗿𝗍's son.
Sorry, it's Craig 𝗍𝗿𝗍's son.
Yeah.
Yes, and I was saying James
𝗍𝗿𝗍𝗍. Not the good 𝗍𝗿𝗍, the bad 𝗍𝗿𝗍.
James 𝗍𝗿𝗍 is the last really good striker we've had, but you're right, he's not related to 𝗍𝗿𝗍𝗍. It was Craig 𝗍𝗿𝗍's son. So let's see what he can do as another option from the youth setup. Thanks for correcting me there, Nick. You are
okay. So I'll take one or two more questions, and then I have to go. I'll leave you 2 together.
Oh yes, it's that time.
Okay,
that's great. Yeah, one of my questions is it's mostly because I just want to. You've been the owner of Sheffield United for such a long time. There's a lot of players come and gone. Who was your favourite players to watch over the piece? Because I know we've had some great players, even from the League One days up until the Premier League, and then coming down, we've had a whirlwind, a roller coaster. Who've been your favourite players to watch?
I will exclude the players that's still playing right now.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's Element. If I exclude Element is my favorite player. As for who's Mr. Sheffield United, in my opinion, 𝗍𝗿𝗍𝗍 for me, Chris 𝗍𝗍𝗍.
Love it. That's very good because it's very fitting with tomorrow.
You said 2 more questions. That's one. So maybe it's fair to end on this one. Michael says, what is your opinion for 𝗍𝗍𝗍 𝗍𝗿𝗍𝗍's failure in his time at Bramall Lane?
I think when we signed him, we told him that this is the roster we have. We can only bring 4 or 5 players. If you are going to change the way we play, I don't think it will be
3-5-2 is what we were playing.
Yeah, it will not be successful for us and you.
Did he agree to play 3-5-2?
He agreed, but I think when the results did not go well, he said, I want another 3 or 4 players in the January transfer window. And then we thought, if we do that, then even if we get promoted, we're going to promote it with a team that we will not develop any of our new players. And we made that change. Of course, hindsight is really like a very good thing. But I think we also thought that if we put 𝗍𝗿𝗍𝗍 from the start and we don't start well, fans will turn against him quickly. So we needed to bring a name, although we wanted Paul. All of us, but nobody.
All of us, Nick. All of us wanted Paul.
No, I mean,
yeah,
all of us.
Me too.
Yeah, and you remember, fans don't remember. I think when we brought Paul, like most of the fans were against us.
Yeah, I'm just joking with Nick because he was one of those fans, absolutely.
Who wanted or didn't?
Didn't want.
Didn't want. Okay,
I don't remember that. I don't know why you're making that up, Hal.
I've got a screenshot, Nick, which I will show you privately.
Okay,
why you keep evidence? Don't have chat.
I'll leave you with Hal, and I'm gonna be listening. So you better talk.
Don't worry, I've got nothing to say to Nick.
Okay.
So
that's fine. You can leave.
Bye.
It's been fantastic. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Traore, is that right?
Traore. Traore. Come on, Hal. You sat right next to him.
Sorry.
You
so there you
seem
go.
to
That's the review of the Blackburn game. Hopefully you're from that. And yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in. And also, Nick, you'll put this out as an audio podcast as well. So if you also want to get it that way, you can.
Absolutely. Are we? Is that it then? Are we done? Are we not doing a batch reaction?
You can ask me a few questions about the game if you wish.
I think we still need to get Prince Abdullah back on to chat more about Sheffield United, because I've got so many more questions to ask him, and I think we'll put some out on social media as well to ask people for more questions. But yeah, it's really great to have him on and have him give up his time, because he said to you he wanted to be on the channel, didn't he? You weren't begging him, or were you begging him? Are you making it?
No, no, I was just thought it was a really nice idea. Why not? So it's yeah, it's fun to have the opportunity, which, you know, my work has brought me to this part of the world. Why not speak? You know, you'd be mad, wouldn't you? Imagine if you're a Man City fan, you got a chance to speak to the owner or even the former owner in their own home. It's incredible. So yeah, just feel very blessed.
Yeah. I'm really jealous. I'm so jealous. But
yeah, also a massive shout out to all those getting involved with 𝗲𝗄𝐴𝐵𝐵𝐵's testimonial. I know, Nick, you mentioned it before. It is for a fantastic cause. It is going to be a really, really good day. Sad to see Jamie Murphy now can't play. I do think the timing of this is unfortunate because teams involved, including ourselves now, in the playoffs. But I just hope everyone has a fantastic day. Bash deserves it. You heard that Prince Abdullah called him Mr. Sheffield United. I think there's a few candidates for that, but he's certainly in the conversation.
Yeah, I thought Billy Sharp's name was going to come out of his mouth for a second there, but it's even better that he's picked Bash, not being Sheffield born and not being a Sheffield United fan growing up, because it almost feels even more special when people take Sheffield and Sheffield United to their hearts that have got no sort of former affiliation with the club and the city. So yeah, we've interviewed a lot of players, haven't we, that have come to Sheffield to play football for Sheffield United, and they've stayed here because they love the city so much. They're taken in by the fans. It's almost that I was talking to David Vinter. I need to give him a quick shout out because I was talking to David and Russ in Panenka earlier on, and we were talking about Harry Souttar and the fact that Harry Souttar came back to obviously give a wave to the fans. It feels like he's bought into the club, and it'd be fantastic to see him come back to Sheffield United, whether we are in the Championship next season or obviously the Premier League. So yeah, there's a lot of players that just seem to fall in love with the club and with the city, and yourself included, Hal, because you weren't born in Sheffield, were you? You were adopted. You've been adopted by, not adopted by your mum and dad. No, they are your mum and dad.
Yeah, whilst Nick finishes rambling on, I'll say that it used to happen quite a lot in the Bassett era, that you got players who fell in love with the club and ended up staying. And then it happened a little bit after that, certainly in the Warnock era. I mean, Asaba's a good example. And it's happening again. And that says a lot about the culture and I think the feel-good factor at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. I'm just so proud of the sort of how Sheffield United is as a club in a city which has another club where that feeling is not prevalent. I feel like it feels awful, and there's protests and all sorts going on at Sheffield Wednesday, and long may that continue.
How can you get on that, please?
Yeah, I may or may not be working on that as we speak.
Same. Congratulations, David McGoldrick, on being named League 2 Team of the Year at the EFL Awards. We all know how much we love 𝗍𝗍𝐺 on this channel, and yeah, I think I'm glad Michael's brought that up because yeah, Billy Sharp, obviously promotion with Doncaster Rovers. 𝗍𝗍𝐺's claimed his own individual awards. It's been a great year. It has been a fantastic season. However, you kind of look at it thinking that we've kind of messed it up in that week from hell, if you like, as we coined. You know, 92 points. It's not even 90 points, is it, Hal? It's 92 points, counting that -2. So amassing 92 points in a season and not getting promoted is wild. And in Prince Abdullah's, well, he was talking about the -2 earlier on. I actually think that the -2 helped us start really, really quickly, because that first game against Preston, we're like, we need to be on it straight away, get into plus points. And I feel that was the catalyst to start us really quickly.
it galvanized the group. I think they might have felt like, right, we've got this hanging over us, so let's all come together. We're starting different to everyone else. We feel we're different. Some may have even felt victimized by it, although you can argue that at a different time. So yeah, it probably did help us in a strange way, certainly with the way we came out of the gates.
Yeah, and the other thing I was going to mention, Leeds and Burnley, you've got to take your hat off to them. Both finish on 100 points. I'm looking at the league table now, and form is saying that they've both won their last 5 games, and that's just incredible. Incredible. And I know last season's championship was a nail biter as well. Leeds just finished third in the table, just missing out on promotion. This has been another nail biter for the majority of the season. And if it wasn't for an uncharacteristic mess up in that week from hell, then we would have been right in there with them, because I couldn't see us dropping those 9 points, and we've ended up finishing on 90 points. He's mad. It really is. And I've been critical about them in those 3 games, but just the fact that we got to this position right now, I'm proud of him. I'm very, very proud of Chris Wilder and the boys.
Absolutely.
I want to add one more thing. Never ask, please, Hal about his predictions.
You're basing this on Luton, aren't you?
Yeah. Oh my God.
I did predict the Luton.
We all thought Luton were going to do all right, though.
No, I know. I feel bad for Luton, but because somebody expected them to win the league, I think.
Yeah, we all.
Yeah, that was a really bad prediction. Really.
No, it was based on the information we had. I think they looked like the best place to. Anyway, look, we could.
No, they didn't. Top of the league.
Nick and I will do a full review of our pre-season predictions, which, by the way, the rest of mine almost all entirely spot on. So I think that was a fair shout. Anyway, look, Nick, we could carry on for ages, but this is longer than the first half of football. So thanks all of you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us. We're not really going to do a Blackburn Rovers match reaction here. This is what you're getting tonight. None of us really cared too much about. None of us put a lot of anything into this game. We all know we're going to be in the playoffs. We're going to finish there. We're going to play 6th. We've played a lot of players that probably won't play in the first leg of the playoffs. So we didn't put a lot of stock into this game, did we, Hal?
No, and I'll do a little recap of the Blackburn game on my playoff preview coming soon.
Fantastic. So, yeah, thank you very much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Hal, and obviously thank you to Prince Abdullah for joining us this lovely evening. Cheers, guys.
𝗚𝗿𝗄𝗍𝗓𝗓𝗍